Well, hello and welcome to Grant Writing Today. I'm your host, Rodney Walker, and I'm happy that you are listening in today. You're tuned into the show dedicated 100% to shining a light on what's happening in the world of grant writing today so that you can stay informed, so that you can know latest trends, so that you can be informed about some of the cool things that are happening across the landscape in the area of grant writing. And on today, I'm excited to tell you about some cool things that are happening. In fact, there's a school and a really cool teacher by the name of Kelly McLean who's doing some cool things. She's an English teacher, and guess what she has? Some students that she's teaching some real life experiences in learning how to do grant writing. Have you ever been one of those students before and you've been in class, you're like, man, what in the world does this have to do with anything I'm going to be doing in the real world? Well, for 4 years now, Kelly McLean has been teaching and having her students to actually prepare a proposal. They go and they do research, and as they do research, the next thing is that they then take that research and begin to develop an argument, put together a proposal, and that's a real life exercise. Now, the classes are, and the students are actually kind of competing, and the students themselves will review and determine which other projects or the proposals were the best. The best one, from my understanding, is going to be awarded $250, and that award is going to go, I believe, to that organization. So it's really cool what they're doing, and the students are leading the way. And congratulations on that. It's just a cool project. Way to go, Miss McLean. Keep up the good work. I'm cheering for you guys. And in fact, before the end of the show, I'm going to share with you one thing that I'm going to do in addition to what you guys are doing, because I think what you're doing is so cool. And I want the world to know about what you're doing. Now, let's go on and look at some other things that are happening in the grant world. We just recently had a really cool opportunity had an opportunity on yesterday to hang out with a lot of cool people. And it was so fun because these were other grant professionals who were wanting to scale their business up to six figures. And sometimes when you're very new and you're just kind of starting out, that may seem like a lot of money to you, but I want to let you know, and especially those students over at West High, I want you to know that that skill that your teacher is telling you about, there's actually a group who recently just got awarded an opportunity to do grant writing as contracted work. And in the Patterson time, this group that just got awarded, they received a $288,000 grant writing contract. And this firm is now going to be doing some work. Now, this firm, now listen, students, what your teacher is just giving you in terms of learning this skill, you're seeing somebody right now that with their firm, they've been able to earn over $250,000 with this one contract. Now, here's the cool thing. This organization has been doing some of the grant writing, and they've already helped the city to secure about $14.3 million. And as the article points out, they were paid about $84,000. And so according to the person who's the president, this person, Ed Farmer, says, hey, listen, we got a return on your investment of 170 to 1. So for every $1, we've earned basically $170 for you. Not bad. And so I like the way when you look at what we do as grant professionals, we bring value by helping to bring additional resources. But I want you students, and not just you students, those of you who are looking to do your grant writing business and to grow it, to see also what's possible and not to limit yourself, because the more value you bring, the more you are able to receive in terms of compensation. So I want to encourage you, even in this whole space, not to be underpricing yourself, because grant professionals bring a lot of value to the world. Now, I'm looking, just in case you don't know, I simply have gone to Google and typed in grant writing today. And if you'll go right underneath the main search, you'll see that there are some links that says all video, books, images, and then news. And so I'm simply going and highlighting some of the cool things that are happening in the news. So if you want to see and read more in depth about some of these stories I'm telling you about, look right underneath the show notes. I'm going to leave a link to each of these different stories. But if you want to look at some of the other things that I may not be mentioning today, just simply go over and type in grant writing and then go to the news section in Google. And you'll get a chance to see some of these other cool stories of what's happening. Now, let's take a look at a couple of other things. And I want to share with you, there was a grant, $82,000, that was received by the Central Oklahoma Community Action Agency. And this agency is going to be assisting other nonprofits with their grant writing efforts. And it's cool to see other agencies come along and get funded to help bring in even more resources to organizations that are deserving. They're going to be assisting them, helping them with things such as research, preparation, submissions of other grant applications. And it's really nice to see that happening. And I'm looking at and seeing what's happening with the school that I highlighted earlier and seeing agencies doing something similar. So it's really nice to see how when an organization is funded with resource, how they can continue to pay it forward. And I think a part of what a lot of people who are grant professionals, we're in this because we want to pay it forward. We want to do more good. And when you think about grant professionals, these are some of the coolest, nicest, most givingest people on the face of this earth. Now, with that being the case, I want my grant professionals out there not to be taken advantage of. So remember, know your worth, and I want to encourage you to continue to do your great work. Let's take a look at a couple of other things that we have going on out in this space. We have others that are receiving grants, and I'm looking over, there was a new hire that took place, and this person that I'm going to tell you about has been doing some good work. It looks like over in the Durango Herald, there's a story that talks about a grant writer using storytelling to capture their audience. And this organization is out there helping, and they're using the whole art of storytelling. And if you didn't get an opportunity to, and on the last episode, well, 2 episodes back, I had an interview, and this interview was with Michael over in Kenya, and he had some very interesting things to talk about as it related to storytelling as well. You may want to go back and check out that episode because he used storytelling in a very powerful way. And I'm hoping that as you do your grant writing, that you will also use that as well. But the article that I read highlighted some of the work of some of the people over there. And I'm looking right now, talked about Beth Lamberson, and grant professional for over some 30 years or so, and some of their new hires that they have and some of what they're doing. And it was interesting as I read through the article to see some of the trends and some of the trends that you may be seeing in the whole grant writing space. There was once a time when funders, especially foundations, they were really not in favor of giving a lot of funds in the area of general operating expenses. But with everything that has happened with COVID, that somewhat changed. It also, remember, like there was at one time not a lot of funds going or grants going to for-profit businesses. And when COVID hit, that kind of shifted, and there were a number of grant opportunities for actual for-profit business. So one of the things that when we look at some of these recent articles and things, it helps us to stay aware of what's happening in the world of grant writing today. I want to call your attention to that article. It had some good insight, and I was excited to see what was happening in that area as well. This was the Region 9 Economic Development Center. They had just recently hired their first full-time grant writer. And there are a lot of organizations out there that are not at a place where they are able to hire a grant professional. It was interesting just getting a chance to hear and read that article. I want to call your attention to it. Go check it out. But remember, as we're doing grant writing, there are a lot of things that I want to encourage you to make sure that you do, and that is to make sure that you keep your fingers on the pulse. And this show is really dedicated to that, to help just kind of keep your finger on the pulse. Some stories and some things that may be off of your radar, I just want to bring it to your radar so that you can just go and check some of them out, because it may help and inform you on what you're doing, or you may even hear an idea of what someone else is doing that may be helpful or may be instructive or informative for what you're doing. So with that being the case, I want to encourage you to make sure that you subscribe. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Yes, hit that subscribe button. We're on a number of different platforms, whichever one works the best for you. Apple Podcasts. We're also on iHeartRadio. We're on other places like Google Podcasts and YouTube and several other places. Find the platform that works the best for you, and just whatever you do, hit that subscribe. And if you have questions, I want to encourage you to send your questions in. You can send those to askrodney@grantcentralusa.com. And who knows, I may be answering your question that you have on one of our various shows. If you haven't already, remember, this is Grant Writing Today. We highlight those things as it relates to grant writing today. But we have some other shows that may be of interest to you, such as our Grant Business Show. If you simply go over to grantbusinessshow.com, that will be something that may be helpful for you. And if you're doing grant writing in the educational space, don't forget, we also have schoolswinninggrants.com. If you go over there, it's a show dedicated just to school grant things. Okay. Now back to those wonderful students out there at West School High. Okay. Did I say it right? I hope I said it right. Those wonderful students out there. I want to do this. You guys are doing something so cool. I want to add some value to it. And so I'm going to reach out to Miss Kelly McLean and to the students out there, and I'm going to provide one of my training courses for the next 30 days for the students to give them some additional information to help them. I'll be sending one of our valuable grant writing courses out that way to them and encouraging them along their journey so that they can continue to do great things. Who knows? They may be getting that $288,000 contract next and doing some great things. Well, my friends, I'm out of time for today. I know time flies when you're having fun. I want to congratulate you guys again. I want to wish all of you the very best. And remember to stay and continue to be brave and to be bold, be brilliant, and take charge. I'll see you on next time. Have a great day and keep on having happy grant writing. Until we talk again, have a good one. Bye.